Okay, so we are now at the place of goal setting. This is, in some sense, where the rubber meets the road. Last week, we had you fill out the assessment tool, and basically you were to answer 12 questions with a 1 to 5 rating, and those were in 3 or 4 areas of your life, dealing with your character, your connection, your competence, and your commitment. So what we're going to now do over the next 2 weeks is we are going to begin to take this information and say, this is where I am, where do I want to be in goal setting? So this will now move into goal setting, and you'll work that off of your platform card. So if you look at your platform under character, let me just go through the 3 questions we ask you under character. Truth: I consistently read, study, and memorize God's word. Faith: my prayer life is consistent and I often do things that require a step of faith. And 3, character: my life is in great harmony with God's expectation for how I live. If you were low and you scored yourself low in those areas, then what you should do is come over here and you will see that we have an area for truth, faith, and character. We simply want you to set some goals. If you're not reading God's word, then we want you to read God's word. If you're not memorizing his word, we'd like you to memorize that. So set a few goals here where you'd like to be, and then set some action items. In other words, if you want to read God's word on a more consistent basis, then I would say over here in your goals section, what you ought to do is say, I will read God's word 5 times a day. So you'll have the goal, and then you'll have the action items under character. You will do that for the 4 areas of your life. For instance, let me go through the connection part of your life. This has to do with family. My relationships with my spouse, children, and extended family are strong and vibrant. If those aren't, then you ought to go through and say, what are some goals and what am I going to do there? For instance, if your relationship with your kids aren't where they should be, then you say, I want to improve. A goal would be to improve my relationships with my son, let's say. What is the action item? I would do something over the next couple of weeks, set a goal of taking him somewhere and doing something with just you and he, and build that relationship. So you see, you're going to have goals and you're going to have action items. What about your friends? I have a number of close friends who challenge and encourage me to be a better person. If you don't have those folks, then you need to set a goal to do that and set some action items as to how to do that. Work. The time I spend working is in good balance with the other demands on my time. This is typically where a lot of us fall down. We love to work, and we probably work too much and ignore our families too much. And so what are you going to do? Set some goals, set some action items in those areas. Next week, you're going to talk about competence. That is, how can you become mentally better? How can you become emotionally better? And how can you become physically better? And then also next week, you're going to talk about commitment. How do I invest my time? Am I a good steward of my time? Am I a good steward of my talent? And am I a good steward of the money that God's given me? So you will go through that, and once again, you will set goals and you'll have some action items that you need to do. Let me tell you one really important thing about goal setting, and this is why a lot of people don't do this or are not successful at this. It's called accountability. I've talked about a running buddy. You need to have a running buddy. So the reason for a running buddy is once a quarter, you will see over here on your plan that I have Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. What I believe you should do is ask somebody who you truly trust to be your running buddy, someone who will come into your life and hold you accountable to the things that you've promised to do and will make you better. Once a quarter, you should meet with that running buddy, and essentially they're going to put 3 marks in here. Minus, meaning I didn't do it. 0, meaning I kind of did it. Or plus, I did it and I did it with excellence. So I'm going to encourage you, set your goals, set some action items, find yourself a running buddy, and every quarter start having them hold you accountable to how you can be a better person.